Hey, good morning. This is another weekly review starting April 1st, 2024. And we're going to be talking about market profile, weekly profile, and go through all the trades, the days, and what happened, what transpired, and how I took this trade. Things that I've learned this week and where would I expect things to go from here. So let's start out with the objective of weekly market profile. So as you can see, market profile is not very clear here, right? On ES, we've been going up, trending up, a lot more high candles here, right? Bottom candles or bearish candle supporting price action to go higher, right? So this is a classic expansion week going higher. Now, what's been happening in the last few weeks? We kind of made highs. We kind of in this range bound here. That seems more clear when you look at NASDAQ, right? If you look at NASDAQ, we've been kind of range bound. This is being the high and the low here, right? We've been kind of range bound on NQ, and ES is a little bit challenging to see that. So nonetheless, let's define the weekly profile. So let's get rid of this and the weekly profile. So this was our doji week last week, which stayed in this range of this candle here. So this was an undecisive week, and Q was a bearish doji candle, right? Now, when we start looking at these highs here, because we expected, at least when this week opens, we expect a high or low to be taken out. Those are always our weekly targets, right? Weekly highs and weekly lows. Now, if we look at NASDAQ, this high that was created earlier this week, April 1st, week of trading, we can see that it failed to reach that high, whereas ES, it reached that high. So we have a SMT here on a weekly basis. Now, that becomes a crucial thing when you're looking at a daily chart, right? So if we look at daily chart, this high was put in on April 1st, right? Same thing for NASDAQ. This high was put in April 1st. Now, in order for us to move forward, we have to keep the seasonality in mind. What's happening? We've been going up for the last few months. We are at a seasonality wise, we should be having some type of retracement. Now, we're not trying to call the tops or the bottoms, but seasonality wise is calling for some type of a retracement. At the very least, it's calling for some type of consolidation, right? So we know that going into this week, that April can bring about some type of retracement. And we'll identify our H4 POI. So in this week, starting Monday, we had a couple POIs here. POIs is always a previous week's high, because Easter week, this was the Easter week, which is a consolidation week. So the week prior to that was our weekly high that was ran. So that was a POI that was ran, right? If you look at NASDAQ, same thing. Easter week, it was a consolidation week. This was that high probability order block that we came into for NASDAQ on Monday, Sunday trading. So those are the POI that we came into early in the week. So what does that tell you? If it's hitting the POI early in the week, it could be a classic expansion week. So weekly profile could be a classic expansion week. So going into Monday, we hit that. We had a change in state of delivery here, right, with this candle, and then followed by a market structure shift here on 4-hour chart. So Monday was a bearish day, and it's telling me that it has put in a high of the week. Now, if you look at that on a daily chart, that was created also on Wednesday. So market structure or change in state of delivery was created on Tuesday, April 2nd, right? So that's where that happened. So on a 4-hour and a daily basis, we have changed into a possibly a bearish status, right? Not at least at the very least, we're not going to be bullish this week. Okay, any bullish movement up would be a manipulation here. So having had that decision made by Tuesday, we can know that any movement up, it could be a manipulation here. So how did I play this? So we identified the H4 and then time frame alignment and the trades taken. I'm going to be talking about it. So let's see on advanced market structure what has happened. We have created a long-term high here, right? A short-term high, a short-term high. So this becomes a long-term high. So we need to put in a intermediate term high here. Classic expansion week lower. Any movement up is is a fair assessment that it might be putting in a intermediate term high here as our advanced market structure on 4-hour chart. So we'll look at how I took this trade going up into this intermediate term high here. I also want to add that once this market structure shift and change in state of delivery happened on Monday, I highlighted this area as my next POI for me to keep in mind that this is where price action can come into as a manipulation. So that's why this POI was highlighted here, even though we keyed off of this POI as our weekly expansion down. All right, so let's look at the trade that I took. So time frame alignment and the trades taken. So my trade idea obviously came from the fact that we have short-term highs here. We created the long-term high, so we want to create an intermediate term high, which would have to come up above this short-term high. So Wednesday, pretty much for the whole day, we consolidated, right? And I didn't know which way we were going. So when Wednesday, if you look at early morning New York expanded up, right? I didn't know if that was a fake move up followed by down, so I didn't know what was going on. So I left Wednesday alone. Thursday, right? So we still had yet to come up to the short-term high here. So what I saw on Wednesday price action study was the fact that we had a movement up on 1 hour, right? This order block was being supported here in the evenings and the PM session, and going into Thursday, these order blocks were being supported on Thursday, right? If you look at it on 15-minute chart going into Thursday, let's bring that back. So this is our Thursday trading. This was that order block from Wednesday. It was being supported here on London, and then we had an expansion move upwards. My trade idea came based on the fact that we had short-term high here. We created that short-term, we broke it, right? So this could be an intermediate term high put in as we are printing these candles on Thursday. Now, I would have elected to go either up or down. So I highlighted this 15-minute fair value gap here, right? And then I went into 1 minute chart. Let's see. So I went into 1 minute chart, time frame alignment, right? Let's see this 1 minute chart here. This was a quick trade that I took on Thursday. So if you look at, we're in that fair value gap. We are putting lows here. We violate that low here with this candle, right? It's manipulation down here. So we manipulated. So movement down here was manipulation, right? Followed by a movement up. We have a breaker block here. We have a high probability order block here, which we start supporting. So my idea on the trade was the fact that we had a violation here followed by change in market structure. So what can we possibly do? We can possibly take out these high and create a deeper retracement into that POI, right? I was expecting into that at least a CE of it, that we might hit that. But nonetheless, my trade, I elected to go somewhere around, I think it was around here. And then I took profit above here, right? And this is the trade that I took. This is the trade that I took here on SPY. I elected to go with SPY because it had a cleaner price action for me. And if you look at it, I bought a weekly SPY expiring on the 5th of April 2024, and I was out of the money. 525 was the SPY option that I bought. Now if you look at it, I think if you were to buy this, right, at the lowest, right, which would be lowest would be somewhere around here maybe, I'm not exactly sure where, but if you were to buy somewhere around here, you could have bought it for very cheap and would have had 140% return on it. There's two reasons why I elected to go with SPY, because SPY had ES, which mimics SPY, or SPY mimics ES. It had a cleaner price action, and also the fact that it was cheap. It was very cheap, and it was like maybe, I think, $50 per contract, something like that. That was my average fill price. And then it was going to be a quick move, and the volatility was there, the price action was there, so I elected to go with SPY because it was cheap. And I also wanted to try it out, see how options would play. Now these are not trade advice by any means, right? These are not trade advices by any means. These are for me and only me to gain knowledge from and to see how I can develop my trading models. These are not trade advice by any means. So let's go back to our weekly objective here as to see what we need to do. So time frame alignment was off of that 4-hour POI, 15-minute fair value gap, trades taken on 1-minute chart. Now compare and contrast the classic expansion week. So if you look at it, this week was Monday down, Tuesday down, Wednesday, Thursday AM session was a retracement, followed by Thursday movement down, right? Another expansion, followed by a Friday TGIF. Now I didn't participate in the TGIF Friday, and because my overall bias is now shifted to bearish. So I want to see what happens here exactly for me to take a position lower. Compare and contrast. So if you look at March 18th week, we had a classic. I have a video on this, right? Go back to watch this video again, whoever wants to, not anybody who's not interested in it, obviously. This video, I talked about how this was a classic expansion week up, where Monday, Tuesday violated that London session, right? And then expansion up. So if you look at it, Monday was manipulation, followed by Tuesday was a manipulation. We have a order pairing below here. Tuesday was a classic expansion. Wednesday was the bulk of that body formed for that week, which is typical of classic expansion week, followed by Thursday, where it creates the high and then low, and then followed by Friday, which could be a classic TGIF Friday, right? So in this one, Thursday usually creates the high or the low of the week, which is in comparison, Thursday created the high and the low of the week here. But the bulk of the body was created on Tuesday and Thursday, right? If you compare these bulk of the bodies were created Tuesday and Thursday. In comparison, where the bulk of the body was created Tuesday and Wednesday in this classic expansion week, right? We had a slight pullback, right? If we were to say high movement higher Thursday, we had a slight pullback in the PM session. So that's another key thing to remember, is that Thursday is a split day. We have AM session higher followed by PM session lower, right? Or it's a split session. One session is going to be higher, one session is going to be lower. So if you look at, this is the Wednesday, right? Thursday we had AM session higher. We hit that mark, right? And then we started reversing in the early PM session into, so we created this high AM session, right? AM session, early AM session, 8:30 or so. Let me put it on 1 hour chart. So this is the Thursday price action. Put that on again. This is that Thursday price action, where Wednesday created Thursday, 3 a.m., 6 a.m., 9, 10 a.m., 9 a.m. session here, exactly at 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. we created that high, followed by rest of the session being bearish into Friday, where it creates a TGIF as well. So compare and contrast, mostly contrast here. Tuesday created the low of the week, whereas this one, Monday created the high of the week, and followed by an expansion. The bulk of the body was created Wednesday going into Thursday, which is a classic for expansion. Here the bulk of the body was created on Thursday, essentially. Bulk of the body was created on Thursday, right? Tuesday we negated all Tuesday and Wednesday trading, and then Thursday was just a flush on the PM session, right? Followed by TGIF was a deeper retracement. So very similar yet different patterns, but something to remember, that Thursday, the takeaway is that Thursday can be a split session, and it can create, if Monday creates the high or the low, Thursday will create a bulk of the weekly range, right? If Tuesday creates the high or the low, Wednesday and Thursday, part of Thursday, will create the bulk of the range. So that's very important there. Those are the comparison contrasts of the classic expansion week. So I hope this was a very informative week. Just to recap, that we have created this advanced price structure here with short-term high, long-term high, and an intermediate-term high. So what is this forming right now? To me, this would be a classic silver bullet pattern. I would want to see how this price area gets traded here on lower time frames. So 4 hour to 15 minute, I want to see how this time frame gets traded, and I'm overall expecting a run below these lows here to complete that silver bullet pattern.